On this channel, $1 Million Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people. And just for clarification purposes, I need to run through these. We use the actual historical returns of the S&P 500 for the last 100 years. Number two, we project ahead what similar returns might do for you in the future. Number three, the resulting numbers are simply a possible range of what may happen in the future. Number four, we use the S&P 500 because it's what everybody's trying to beat, but few consistently do. Number five, it also has a track record for 100 years, including through the Great Depression years. Number six, this channel was made for you as an aid, but don't rely on it alone for your financial planning. Number seven, the spreadsheets on this channel are simply tools to help you plan. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Here's what I do for you. I run the numbers. I just ask for three things from you: your beginning balance, your monthly contribution, and your desired increase. And we'll go ahead and run it for 20 years or more, 20 to 45 years. Again, thanks for watching this channel. Now, because you people are getting more and more sophisticated in what you're asking me, I'm having to change some of my spreadsheets and make them even more complex. But I love doing it. I love the challenge. I got this challenge here. This individual said he's 48 years old. He currently has 277,000 in his nest egg. 277. Remember, we only look at what the S&P might do for him in the future. S&P 500. He wants to increase that by 2% a year, what he's putting in, and he wants to put in, says 2623. So I'm going to go ahead and take the liberty. I just go by 50s. I'm going to take the liberty of 2600. So what we're going to do is, excuse me, we're going to see what would have happened over the last 100 years, given each of these years, if you would have had the returns like those years, like if returns were like 1924 on, 1925 on, and so on. Of course, it won't be anything identical, but it's going to give us a range that you can somewhat figure you're going to stay within that range, because there's 100 years of data showing us the market goes up, the market goes down. But if you can be in it for the long run, you'll just be amazed. Let's go ahead and run the numbers here. Make sure I've got everything right. 277,000, 2,600 a month, increasing that by 2%, excuse me, 2% a year. We're going to update this for every single year. And I've added a little section to the spreadsheet. I've made some changes. Since he's 48 years old, we're going to be looking at the 20-year column. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to 20 years. And what this shows us is he wants to see what it would take to get to 3.4 million. And I've said other times on this channel that I do not like to run it for 20 years or less, because you could run into a bad decade. You could run a bad decade like 2000s, a good decade. You have two good decades like the 80s and the 90s. You could have the depression type years. But here's what I'm doing. I'm going to put, he wants to know, his goal is 3.4 million, which is quite a hefty goal. 3.4 million. This shows you how many times in the last 100 years you would not have made your goal contributing at $2,600. You had 29 times you would make it. They're in red here. I can go down through here and show you. I'll just show you a few more here. A lot of times you'd be just fine, but there's a bunch of reds there. So this actually counts them for you, so you don't have to do any calculations at all. So 29 times out of the last 100 years, you would not have made the goal contributing at $2,600 a month. 52 times you would have made it above 34. I didn't change these either. Let's change these to 5 million. This just shows you what we can do on this channel. Change this to 10 million. Okay, this just shows you 34 times you'd actually be above 5 million in the 20-year period. And actually there was 4 times you'd be above 10 million. But again, are you comfortable with 29 times not making it? What he wanted to know is, do I need to contribute more? Well, if you're comfortable with 29 out of the last 100 years not making it to that goal, well, let's go ahead and up this a little bit. That's why I made the change in this. It was intriguing to me, so I went ahead and made the change. Let's say 3,000 a month. Let's go ahead and update this. We're going to see these numbers change. How many times would you not make it to 3.4 million, which is what his goal is? Contributing $3,000 a month, 26 times. It didn't go down that much, did it? Let's go down to, let's go to 3,500. Again, we're getting $900 more than what he was planning on, but he wanted to know. So we're going to go ahead and run the numbers. How many times would he not make the goal of 3.4 million? 20 times in the last 100 years. There they are. Notice how many of them were around the Depression years because of this right here. I'm not sure how many you're comfortable with. I'm gonna actually go up to 4,000. I'll go to 3,800. That's why I love to run numbers for people. Now, if you had 25 years, that would be making a big difference. They need to be making it lots of times. But there's still 16 times he wouldn't make it, even though he's putting in 3,800. But let's go with the 25-year period and see how many times he would have made it, even with the 2,600. Beginning's 48, so I'm figuring he doesn't want to work till he's contribute, not take his nest egg till he's 73. But in that case, update this again, make sure I'm doing this right. If we look in the 25-year column with 2,600, he'd make it every single time. So somewhere between the 20 and 25th year, it looks like he's going to make it to 3.4 million. It's just whether it doesn't look like he can do it in the 20-year period, but if he I don't run it for any differently than that. So between the 20 and 25-year period. But hopefully this makes sense to you. He wanted to do it. He's age 48. And like I said before, I don't like to run it for less than actually 30 years, but even 25 years. But let's update this one more time. Let's make sure I got this right. Again, I just changed all this to be able to answer this individual's question. I love changing the spreadsheets to answer questions. 3.4 million, 29 times he wouldn't make it in the last 100 years, 52 times he would, 34 times he'd make it over 5 million, and 4 times he'd make it over 10 million. If we change that to 3 million, let's change this to 3 million real quick. I'm not sure if he's willing to give on that, but this just shows the potential. Update this for, actually, I didn't need to update it because the numbers don't change, the values do. So 29 times he wouldn't make it to 3.4 million, 24 times he would not make it to 3 million in the last 100 years. He just went to 3,000. Again, that was his question to me. Do I need to contribute more? Let's go ahead and update this one. If his goal was 3 million, how many times would he not have made in the last 100 years? 18 times. So it didn't help much going from 26 to 3,000. But hopefully this answers this individual's question, but shows you the kind of numbers we can run for you. Again, we're just projecting ahead what the S&P might do in the future. Is it going to do worse than the Depression years? Is it going to do better than the 1980s and 90s? These kind of turns. Of course, most people are concerned about running out of money, so they need to look at the Depression type years. Are we going to have those again? Nobody knows. This channel, we love to run numbers for you. I realize I went a little bit long in this one. I just wanted to show you. I keep making changes to these spreadsheets to be able to help you, to aid you in your financial planning. Please don't rely on this channel only, but it can give you some rough ideas. And again, you can see the kind of variables we can do for you. So please consider subscribing. Please share this channel with your friends. Let them know there's a channel out there that will run numbers for them in all kinds of different ways. Thanks for watching.